All right, here is our Terran player.
ZeNEX, June.
Man, they just don't let the ZeNEX players have an intro.
Well, these guys need no introduction, man. They've played in the GSL so much. Moltrap's just like grabbing a cheeseburger. All right, up here at the top left.
Dude, I was gonna do the intro. I was trying to get him.
And this also seal.
I was trying to be surreptitious about it. You're like, Moltrap, quit trying to grab a burger. I'm like, they wouldn't have known if you hadn't said anything.
Hey, the guy that got creep everywhere. He's the guy.
They didn't have any more burgers left. They're just handing out sodas now.
Ah, okay. Well, that's all right.
That's all right, too. So, we're going to have June put his barracks at his ramp. Where did he put his depot? In his supply line? It's a good move,
Yeah,
I
it's
guess.
right next to his Vespian Geyser.
That's kind of curious, though. I wonder if that means he's going to put a second barracks so he has a wall, or what?
Don't read too much into it, man. I used to read too
True.
much into the depot placement. I'd be like, oh, I don't know.
Well, this
He
is
put the
June.
depot there. Does he like dogs more than cats? I don't know.
No, I actually... You
Yeah,
need
you're
that
right here.
depot there
Yeah.
if you're just going to go one racks. Otherwise, you can get Zerglings running in there. So he's going to put a second racks down, and he's going to try and put on a little bit of pressure. And then what he can do is build his next depot in between those two racks so he can still have a nice little wall there. And it actually works really well because even if there's an early rush, you can just put like a single Marine will block, and so you can get not very much coverage on the Marines with your Zerglings
Yeah,
if
very
necessary.
True. Now, this isn't the 11-11 two racks. Isn't like a super fast. You know, it's not like the two racks we saw earlier on Daybreak where you move them way out in the middle of the map. This is basically just the two barracks, pressure into expand, opener.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a smart move to do. As long as he... It's a little bit dangerous. He needs to make sure he doesn't overcommit or anything like that and lose a bunch of Marines. But
Well,
if
he's
he
going to
doesn't-
bunker here.
Oh, he's going to put down a bunker.
And the Lynx are just going to... They're going to stop that right in its tracks.
Yeah. And SCV is going to get away.
Look at those bunker tracks
Canceled.
they got left there. Stopped right in their tracks.
What? Did you say bunker tracks?
Yeah, man. I said the bunker's going to get stopped right in its tracks and the bunker got canceled. It left some tracks behind. I wasn't lying to you guys. No, these Lynx in the middle of the map fighting control of a watchtower. They're fighting over the control of the watchtower that won't be around much longer.
Yeah.
But
is it 6 minutes or 7 minutes?
7 in-game minutes.
Okay. I thought it was 7, but it looked like it was getting pretty low. Yeah, these Marines are now just kind of trying to keep control of that middle there. Zerglings are keep poking in, but they're not going to accomplish anything. He may... I don't know. I think it's a little risky of not Hack. That was last game. Of Jejun to be kind of doing that. Yeah, okay, he's falling back because otherwise he didn't know if maybe Speed was going to complete and Steel was going to make a bunch more Zerglings and just surround him and kill all that, and then he would have 0 map control and Steel could just drone for days. But he does go back, and Steel did in fact make a bunch more Zerglings though.
This is true, yeah. I think he thought, well, maybe if he just messes up and overcommits a little bit, he may actually be trying to bait him out here a little bit. I think that's exactly what's going on. Now when Speed's going to finish, he's going to surround these Marines. It's a really nice tactic.
Actually, I don't know. He lost like 4 to 6 Zerglings doing all that baiting, so I don't know if he actually has enough Zerglings to do a surrounding.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too much.
He's gonna...
Both these players are committing a little too much to these things.
Yeah, he's going to try it a little bit, though. He's got Zerglings... Well, maybe not.
I don't know, man. He's like got the perfect little setup here. Moltrap and I are like, well, I think he's going to do it, but he's just not for some reason.
Yeah, and he just doesn't realize where the Marines are. He just didn't know it. He's going to lose 4 or 5 Zerglings, or 3 or 4 Zerglings there, just for no reason. Now he really has to fall back.
Factory going up for June, not going into the 4 barracks follow-up that we sometimes see. The command center gets made. Baneling Nest on the way. Mostly just for that 4 barracks pressure, he's a little bit nervous about that.
Yeah. Yeah,
especially when you lose a lot of Lings like that.
It's a really good idea to just have a Baneling Nest around. I mean...
Very cheap.
It's not that expensive, and it can really save you a lot in those like oh crap moments where you're like, oh, he actually went 6 barracks, crap.
Yeah.
I need something that'll stop Infinity Marines right now, and the only thing that can do that is Banelings.
You don't even have to make any spines or anything like that. Banelings can also be good against Hellion follow-ups as well.
True, very true.
It's just good to have that little a little nest. It's like getting insurance on your phone, you know. It costs a little bit, but not a whole lot. It's worth it, though, because if he all-ins you, man, you can get a new iPhone. You don't have to pay as much. Blue Flame Hellions being researched now. 2 Hellions on the way.
I hate when I get all-in and someone like steals my cell phone.
Well, if you ever make a bet with your friend, and you're like, well, if I win this, you give me your smartphone, but if I lose, I'll give you mine.
What are you, like, racing for pink slips or something with your phone?
And then, no, what happens is, like, you bet your phone on the game, and then if you lose, you can just go to, you know, your local KT store and say, well, here's what happened. See, I lost my phone in the StarCraft bet, but I have insurance, so he'll give me a new one.
I don't know if insurance covers StarCraft, but hold that thought. Baneling's coming in. One lands not on a good spot. The rest do land on those Marines, but only kills a handful. He was keeping the rest up in back there as kind of insurance Marines. So if he wanted to, he could just lift that depot and
insurance
be fine.
Marines?
Yeah, insurance Marines.
How much do you have to pay for those?
Quiet.
Was it worth it?
Yes, it was worth it. Because he lost the group of Marines on the ground, but then he just went to his Marine company and was like, can you guys fill
I need some
in?
reimbursement.
I don't know, I'm going with that anymore. But
Well,
point being, not too much damage dealt by either side there.
The interesting thing is that he wasn't able to scout that there are a lot of Hellions. He hid the Hellions. The Hellions have Blue Flame now. They're moving out. Not a lot of response for Seal. He's got a really good amount of pre spread. I mean, the cheerfuls and all are kind of funny, but it's really true.
Yeah. Yeah, he actually has been doing a really good job of that. J-Dune trying to clear out some of these creep tumors now. And going to get a few of them.
Well, he actually split his decision. There's like, do I want to scan again? There's 3 that almost died. I didn't quite get those. He's thinking about scanning again. He's like, well, I don't know. I want those 3 tumors. Should have had insurance on that scan.
Yeah. Scan insurance.
Well, there
nice
are
little, I like this wall that we got there. Making sure that the Hellions cannot run by.
Does scan again. Taking out all these tumors. Very important because you never want to have that creep. When the creep's over halfway through the map, then it's very difficult. He killed the tumor by attacking his own Hellion. Can do
I'm
that.
just going to throw it out there real quick. I was just looking at some stats for June just to see what he's been up to lately. And he actually has never beaten a Zerg in his entire career except for Moonglade. He lost to Lenok recently, lost to Life. I don't even know who Life is, but he lost to him. So really, just again, a strange decision to put out J-June here against the Zerg, who's on a 2-game winning streak against Terrence.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think maybe they just wanted to save Puzzle. They didn't want to use him quite yet. And these Mutas, though, are just going to... These Hellions really do a whole lot. You know, he went for the creep. There was a time where he could have killed a lot of drones. Now he's just going to lose all of his Hellions here, doing very little damage. I mean, he's killed a decent amount of creep, but...
He's like, I'm going to be cute, and I'm going to split my Hellions in 2 different directions so I can save some of them. And he split all of them back towards his base so he could kill him easier and only saved 1.
Yeah, and I don't know, this tank is in the middle of the map. That tank needs to go home. Oops.
That tank's mother is going to send its sister out to the front porch to yell his name down the street, man. He needs to get back.
He needs to get home. It's a little late. Uh-oh, these Mutas might fly into some Marines.
Oh, but they might also get a free tank.
Oh!
Nice.
7 hit points left on that Muta, so the tank was free, I guess you could say.
It was free, like
not
a burger.
Yeah, I don't know, not as free as the burger. The burger itself, you know, the burgers they gave out, they didn't have to micro to get the burger.
That's true.
You didn't have to. They didn't They didn't take 3 cups and like say, if you choose the right cup, you can have a burger. Then they got it for free. It was completely free.
It's like Halloween. You have to do trick or treat. Oh, that Muta finally died, or one of them did.
Yeah, one of them.
And yeah, so Seal now is on 3 bases. I don't know if he's quite droned up that base because there's a large force. J-June does have a pretty good group of Marines. He's got a few tanks alongside as well, so Banelings are not going to be as effective. So Seal does have to worry a little bit here, so it's pretty smart of him to get some units right now instead of trying to drone up too much.
I noticed that he just refuses to stim, which I really like, because the Muse are just trying to trick him into doing that. He doesn't have any medevacs out here, so he needs to avoid stimming, and he just so far has. He's got that 1 medevac out healing. That's not enough. Burrow is almost done. When that finishes, he's going to most likely going to try to use these Mutas to bait them into the
Burrow Banelings, yeah. Yeah, I'm curious how clever Seal can be with that kind of thing.
There's a lot of Muse. He's already got 17. That Muse count's getting pretty high. And the third base is just completely uncontested.
Yeah, it's relatively undefended. There's not a ton there, but he's just not even attacking it. Oh, and another free tank.
Yeah, and even forced some of those Marines to stem.
But again, like you said, he only stemmed a small group of them, so very smart.
He's been very careful about that this entire time. This turret is going to help defend against the tanks, also going to help kill creep. Counterattack over here, not going to be too effective. You guys didn't get a shot of it, but it wasn't effective, so it matters.
There are a lot of Zerglings and Banelings there, and I think this may just be a situation where he's just going to get sandwiched from both sides.
Here we go.
Tons of everything coming from all sides. The tanks get rolled over. The Banelings chasing, and does he land enough? Very little splitting by Jejun, and he loses almost all of his Marines. These Marines are going to get hunted down and slaughtered like animals.
Yeah, it's not looking good. There's a few Marines over here trying to help out their brethren.
And Seal loses like 30 supply to kill like 100 supply. Well, maybe not 100, but either way, point being, Seal coming out 170 to 94 supply, a huge lead, and again, just is now completely uncontested in whatever he wants to do. He can take a fourth, which he is. He can macro up a bunch of stuff and probably just go kill Jejun if he wanted to.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's probably just going to continue to poke at tanks, keep map control. Uh-oh, Baneling's getting a little bit too excited there. Look at that, stimming just a few Marines. There's a little Baneling landmine there, but you can quite step on it. There's another one though. Oh, didn't step on that one either. June being pretty lucky here.
In the next expansion, they're gonna give Terrans like a metal detector that detects like Baneling slime. They'll have like groups of Marines with special equipment going out and searching for landmines.
Maybe so.
Not really. Here's some Mutalisks coming in the back, and they're actually gonna get some decent damage. Jejun's army is out in the middle of the map, and he's actually not bringing it home, so he's basically going to lose his main.
Yeah, this is the tipping point. You realize that he can't turn around. And
I think that is going to seal the victory for Seal here, because there is nothing he can do.
He needed a Baneling detector. He didn't have one.
And yeah, he's just got nothing in his main. I'm not sure why he decided he should base trade with like 24 Marines.
Well, he's just going to lose either way. If he doesn't turn around, he loses. If he turns around, he's it's what I like to call the going point, where the Muse harass you so much and you're like, well, I just can't turn around, I just have to hope this works, and spoiler alert, it's not going to work.
No, and look at all these Mutas flocking across the map to clean up those last Marines and
he's
tanks.
Not even lifting his commanders that are being killed by Zerglings in his main.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any bases. So at this point, Jejun is actually proving me right. I made fun of Bung Bung yesterday. I was like, why did they put out Bung Bung? And like, he all killed. This time, I feel a little bit vindicated that Jejun was in fact not a wise decision to put out there.
Well, I think we all know who's coming out next.
Yeah. There's no choice. It has to be Puzzle. Especially since there's only like 2 people left on the bench. Yes. Maybe that's why Jejun was there. I guess they don't really have too many other people to put out.
They don't have very many choices. June's not terrible, but I can say his play wasn't too far from it in that last game. He just got totally outclassed by Seal, who's clearly a very strong CBT player.
I don't know. I think June is terrible, to be honest with you.
He didn't play his best game. He made a lot of bad decisions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously he's not terrible, but as far as comparing to the way Seal was playing and comparing to the other pro gamers at this level, he just is not at that level right now. So,
not quite reached it yet.
Not yet, but maybe if he keeps practicing, one day he will be.
Well, we saw in the coach interview that the ZeNEX coach is feeling kind of down right now, and it's been known in the Korean community that ZeNEX is a team that's struggling. It's barely trying to get by. So
yeah. And let's find out who Puzzle's going to send out next. Oops.
Is it going to be Line, though? Because Line looks excited. It's going to be Line, man.
It is Line. Never mind.
Line, his CVC is really strong, so maybe why they're choosing him here. But can he beat the rest of the players?
Yeah, can he beat the rest of the team?
Yeah, that's that's the decision that sometimes you have to make. You're like, well, we got to at least get one more win here, or do you decide to pick a player who's maybe a little bit more well-rounded? But anyway, his new ID, of course, is Suho Shin.
You said that's his name?
Yeah, it's his name, I believe. So, decided to use that as his ID as well.
Interesting.
Lion, very classic ID. He's actually used that since open seasons of GSL. He was around back then.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. And, yeah, I don't know. That sounds like we're going to take a quick break.
Yep,
So do not go anywhere. Just come back in a few minutes. We're going to have possibly the last game of the match, or will Lion advance it further? Let's find out at the GSTL.